Lesson 4. Crimes in Modern World. Organized crime. It is a criminal by an enduring structure or organization developed and devoted primarily to pursuit of profits through illegal means. It's sometimes referred as the mob, mafia, syndicate, or cosa nostra. How organized crime group works. An enforcer. One who make arrangement for killing or injuring the members or non-members. A corrupter. One who bribes, buys, intimidates, threatens, negotiates, and talks into relationship with the police and the public officials who can help the members' security and mainly immunity from arrest, prosecution, and punishment. A corruptee. A public official, usually not member of the organization, family, who can wield influence on behalf of the organization interests. Sources of illegal profit. The organization gains from the goods and services of great demand by the society but are prohibited by the law. Characteristic of organized crime. It is conspiracy activity involving coordination of members. Economic gain is the primary goal. Economic gain is achieved through illegal means. Employs predator tactics such as intimidation, violence, and corruption. Effective control. Organized crime does not include terrorists dedicated to political change. Generic types of organized crimes. Political graft. Manned by use force and violence of means to obtain profit or gain achieving political aims or ambition. Next is mercenary or predator organized crime. Crimes committed by a group for direct personal profit but prey upon unwilling victims. In group-oriented organized crime, group manned by semi-organized individual whose major goals are for psychological gratification such as adolescents gang. Next is syndicated crime. The organization that participates in illicit activity in society by the use of intimidation or threat. Next is professional crimes. Refers to the occupation or their incumbents which possesses various traits including useful knowledge that requires lengthy training. Last is white-collar crimes. Criminal act committed by a person of respectability and high social status in the course of his occupation. Forms of white-collar. Corporate crimes. Violation of crimes statute either by a corporate entity or by its executive employees or agents. Next is environmental crimes. Violation of criminal law which, although typically committed by business or by business officials. Act punishable by law and is committed through opportunity created in the course of an occupation that is legal. 4 areas of reform. Ethical reform. Reforms include such things as working to establish stronger or more persuasive codes of business ethics. Second, enforcement reforms. Better funding for enforcement agencies dealing with white-collar crime and insulation of enforcement personnel from undue political violation. Third is structural reform. Involves basic changes in corporate structure to make white-collar crime more difficult to commit, such as selective nationalizations. Last is political reform. Focus on eliminating campaign contribution from corporation and business. Conventional crime. Group of crimes categorized as violent crimes and property crimes. Violent crimes are criminal acts which in the threat of or actual physical harm by an offender to a victim. Violent acts are form of interpersonal violence, forcible rape, murder, serious assault, family violence, robbery. Next is political violence, terrorism. Next is collective violence, riots, mobs, crowds, urban violence. Next is property crimes, are the crimes of economic interest. Property crimes acts are in the form of occasional property crimes such as shoplifting, vandalism, motor vehicle theft, check forgery. Next is conventional property crimes such as burglary, unlawful entry to commit theft, fence, larceny, or theft. Last is destructive property crimes, which is arson. Violent crimes. Murder is unlawful killing of human being with malice. Types of murder. Serial murder. An act of involving killing of several victims in 3 or more separate incidents over a week, month, or year. Mass murder is the killing of 4 victims in one location with one event. Last is spree killing, the killing of in 2 or more locations with almost no time break between murders. Homicide and assault. Homicide is unlawful killing without the qualifying circumstances of the murder. Assault. It is called unlawful attack to another person to harm or inflict physical injuries. Next is robbery. Defines as violent thief. Kinds of robbery. Robbery of person, hold-up cases. Robbery in open place following sudden attack, snatching cases. Robbery in private premises, forcible entry. Robbery after preliminary association for short duration between victims and offender. Robbery in case of previous association between victims and offender. Types of robbers. The professional robber. Robbery as a major source of livelihood. Next is the opportunist. The commonly known as bandits, one who has little commitment to or specialization in robbery and one who is all-purpose property offender. Next is the addict robber. Commit the crime. Next is the alcoholic robber. Commit the crime robber to support habit. Next is the muggers. They are called strong arm robbers, the street robbers who commit everything from snatching to brutalization of the victim. The next topic is rape. Rape is commonly defined as carnal knowledge of woman against her will. Categories of rape. Real rape. Aggravative rape involving violence, weapons, and attackers. Simple rape. And anything else not fall as real rape, such as the victim viewed as suspicious, particularly in the victim did not physically resist. Next is rape trauma syndrome. refers to the adverse psychological impacts of the rape victims continue to suffer long after the incident. It includes sexual anxiety, pervasive fear to the opposite sex, problems in interpersonal relationship, general problem of unhappiness. Next topic is family violence.